1 minute. Oh, yeah, they were, okay.
Miranda should have a copy as well. I printed all of them for your.
Oh,
all
this
of you
could be.
guys.
I have mine. This is yours. Okay, I'm gonna call this, public hearing, district meeting on, what's a special assessment? Chelsea, you,
You guys are here to make the final determination on the special assessments. Being the committee decided to revert back to the initial way that they did it from the very first time it was published in the paper. At that time, we did receive 4 protests. They are all included in front of you guys. I've sent to you. The one that did submit a protest though as well has since sold her house. I never heard from the new owner, and then there was a new one submitted with this protest as well. So if you guys want to look at those, discuss those, determine what you're gonna do on those, and then if anybody else is here to protest.
would the commission like to go through each one of these 4 individually?
I think so. I guess I'd like to address Tammy Sheldon's first, that's sitting on the top,
Okay,
if that's okay, Mark.
that is fine.
Yeah. When I looked at the map of Tammy's, and I see this odd shaped piece of property here, and I think she's being assessed 14,246 and a few cents on her residence, 9465.15 on the other lot. If you go to actually our ordinance, 117-5-3R1 low density residence, I don't know whether her lot would even qualify to have a structure put on it outside of a garage or something like that, because there's a minimum width after 75, if it was, which hers would fall into 1975, of a 70-foot minimum. And as I look at the ordinance, I believe that just because she's 114.25 in the front, it's not an average, it's a 70 feet in the back too. So I think she is justified in asking for a reduction because of the limited use that her lot can be used for. So I would move that we would, she has requested F, I believe, on this.
Correct.
I have the wrong one in front of me, I'm sorry, Mark. I think she's justified in the limited because of the odd shaped lot that she has, you know, for us to grant that reduction of half. So I would make a motion for that.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I guess my one question, at this time, do we need to reallocate where that goes then? Like with our motion?
I would include it in there so that it's directly stated as to where, because now if we're taking it off of somebody else, it needs to go somewhere. So we still have the total amount that we're assessing.
You had mentioned maybe putting it on the water tower portion of the city property up there, so.
For that one, it's minimal. It's half. Overall, it's not gonna, it won't hurt much if you wanted to put it across the entire area. You could, it would change everybody in the project area, or you could just take the 4,500 per se and put it onto where our city water tower sits.
Should that be amended in the motion?
Yeah, and I could amend my motion to assess that to the city water tower property up there.
I second the amendment.
Okay. Any more discussion? Not hearing any? Miranda?
Yes.
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 Yes. And yes. All right,
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry, so that was the amendment being approved, we still wanna approve the whole motion now.
Correct.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
You have to vote.
So vote for the actual amended motion. Yep.
Yes.
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 yes, yes. Great, thank you. Sandra Peterson, we'll put that on the end. Wayne Herringer. You wanna, can you read that, Chelsea? If you will, please. You're a better reader than I am.
So Wayne, is reviewing the recent lot specials in our edition as printed in later news. I have some questions concerning my specials. I'm assessed 26,900. I believe these changed just a tish bit, but not much, since this initial letter was written back in July. For the property of our house sits on, there are 16 lots in Sundown 4th Edition with more square footage than my house lots. Yet the highest they are assessed is 14,803. My square foot is approximately 1.27 per square foot. The 16 lots mentioned above have an approximate cost of 0.44 per square foot. My total square foot property in this addition, which includes my shop, is 33,150 square feet. My total assessed cost for my 3 lots is $38,990. This makes my cost $1.18 a square foot. There are 8 properties that total more square feet than me, and they are assessed at approximately 44 cents a square foot. This huge difference in square foot cost seems to be out of line. I would like to see more equity in the cost sharing of this project. I'm asking for your consideration of this matter and a reduction in my total cost on this assessment.
Mr. Chairman, I sent another letter too, right?
Correct,
And that one,
I have that here. I'll read it. Dear city officials, this letter is in regards to the Sundown 4th Edition, Block 8, Lots 1 and 2. Lots 1 and 2 are combined as per the McLean County tax statement. I feel I should be billed as one assessment. This would be in line with another combined lot, with other combined lots in the area. Thank you for your consideration, sincerely, Wayne Harrier. Would you like to speak up, Wayne,
well,
and help explain?
the first letter, seemed like, we've moved on from that. So now I'm, I have, my lots are combined as per the county. I did about 2 months ago. And there's other lots that are combined, that have one assessment. So I'm still charged 2. And so if you take these 2 lots plus my shop, that's $36,000 worth of specials, over 36,000. So I just thought, other lots up there combined, this one would fall right in line with that. And I have a copy of the tax statement here from the county and stuff like that, so.
But your shop is separate from your other
Yeah,
properties, correct?
Absolutely, but I'm just talking a total price,
Right.
But I'd like to combine one in my house lots.
Okay.
That's
Just to clarify.
others are that way in our neighborhood.
Okay. Does anybody have any?
If I may ask, just for clarification, so they were not combined during the initial assessment, when all the others were assessed? So there was combined lots that were assessed, and those are the ones you were referencing? And since then, you have combined them?
Right, as far as I know, no assessment was on my property. I had all that submitted before the meeting, but yes, it kind of was in the early stage, like about 2 months ago I did this, maybe 2.5, I don't remember the exact date. But the project was well underway, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
The first amounts were already published in the paper, and then he went to the county to combine his lots.
Oh, sure.
I don't think that's right,
No,
no.
I was with Wayne
went down, stopped here and went to the county before it hit the paper.
Gary, for the record, will you state your name?
Huh?
State
For
your
the
name.
record.
State your name.
Please state
Yeah,
your name.
Gary Thiel,
Okay,
1028 Linden Lane.
okay,
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
and Wayne went to the courthouse, went down here, back to the courthouse.
Okay.
Before it was published in the paper.
Mr. Chairman, can I interject something here?
sure.
My name's Dan Langang, I'm on the assessment committee, and I've talked to Wayne and Gary, and they thought being that was kicked back to us from the initial, and we had to relook at these assessments, that's why he felt that this should be applicable for him now.
And we're in line with my neighbors and
I'm-
others the same way.
I'm not sticking up for him,
Mhm.
I'm just saying what had that we had to relook at the assessments.
Right.
And they already had gone to the county before that
Right.
was kicked back at us.
Because nothing was approved,
Yeah.
and so everything went back to
Yeah.
the special assessment.
And we have other lots up there that are combined, and we just be in line with those,
And
that's all we're asking.
if I may ask, Dan, you being on the special assessment committee, did you have that information before you sent this back to us?
What's that?
Did you have the information that it was combined lots before you kicked this back to us?
Did I have,
Did you know that he combined his lots?
Yeah, did I know that they combined the lots?
Mhm.
Well, they were talking about going to the city, or to the county, to the lots,
So
to do the lots.
I guess my question is why, you had the power to combine them before you sent it back to us. Do you know what I mean? Cause you're on that
That I
committee.
sent, I didn't, you guys kicked the assessment back to us.
Correct.
Because you guys had so many protests, okay? And they already had that done before, and when you guys kicked it back to us, and now the numbers all changed, so I had to go, I'm going out to, the people are calling me, finding out what's going on with all these numbers, cause all of a sudden, numbers change all the time. Why are they changing? I don't know why they're changing, so I'm just telling the people, this is what your assessment's gonna be, coming up, and I'm just doing information, I'm just informing people, so they know what's going on, because nobody knows what's going on, with this whole assessment thing has been crazy, because nobody knows what the heck is going on, and it gets ridiculous, but, and I'm just going out to inform people what their assessments are, and if they have any problems, they need to take it up with you guys, because I can't help them. I'm just on the assessment committee, yes, we agreed to do a cap, but as far as the formula, that formula was given to us, to the assessment committee, we don't know how they came up with that formula. All I know is we agreed to, do a cap for that project.
Did you guys also agree to send the assessments to us?
What's that?
But you did agree to send how the assessments are to us,
Send out assessment to you, what do you mean?
like the whole assessment list and everything that was approved, put in the paper, that was approved by your board and sent to us.
So the board could have changed their assessments the second time based on the lots being combined before kicking it to us to decide,
Of course,
is
yeah.
what he's saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, so.
I have a question for Chelsea. Chelsea, what was the date when the special assessment committee finally agreed on the numbers and sent that information to you?
To bring it to this public hearing,
Yeah.
September 11th.
September 11th, okay. So that might answer your question of,
And it was decided at that meeting to go back to the way that it was published
exactly.
initially in the first time.
But the committee could have changed, by like their lots having changed,
Correct.
and kicked it to us for this final vote,
Yes,
having amended these.
yes.
Did the committee even have another meeting after that? I don't think so, I mean, not that we were aware of.
No.
So they couldn't have really changed it then.
They could have had a
could've,
meeting, they chose
at
not to.
The September 11th meeting.
Yeah,
When they-
on the September 11th meeting, the numbers that I got, they would, of course, I've talked to a few of the people, how the numbers really were higher for everybody. And they felt that was not right, so I went back to the committee, when we had that meeting, I says, I am not in favor of these assessments right here. I make a motion to go back to what was published in the paper. That's exactly what I said at the meeting, I'm sure Chelsea can let you know that, that's exactly. Then we voted, and we all voted, yes, we're gonna go back to what was originally in the paper the first time. And not go with the assessment numbers that were given us prior to that, after that, so.
They chose to do it by square footage per parcel, not square footage per lot, cause that was the second time. And then I guess just, the numbers did change from the first time for the sole fact that there was a farm parcel in there, that's an 05. 05 is not city limits. So it couldn't be in there, it was missed the first time, it had to come out. So that fluctuated everybody's numbers a little bit. It wasn't a whole lot, but that number had to come out because it was a large, farm, acre, whatever that it was.
City limits.
Yeah, and it's 05. 05 is not city limits, so I couldn't have it in our special assessments.
So I guess the dates and all that stuff, it's kind of fuzzy, but I'm just asking that we be treated as the other combined lots. That's what I'm asking.
Tim, do you have anything to comment on?
Well, I know that there's been other times in the past where people have rushed to combine lots for, benefit of that. I guess I have an issue with that type of thing, so I'm just still mulling it over at this time.
Okay.
Or
Appreciate
you
that.
can
Pardon me?
do it for everybody that has 2 lots,
Right.
but then everybody's numbers are changing again because that number has to fall within.
Yeah,
Or even not just that, but everyone that could have combined their lots to provide the same ample opportunity.
Correct.
I mean, we're paying for work that was done when everything was in a certain state. If we change that state after the fact, it shouldn't change who then pays for what, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if we kick this one back, then more people are gonna do it, and that's gonna kinda open up a whole can of worms, isn't it?
Then it's gonna affect everybody. Everyone's gonna have to make up the difference. And then,
I say I'm just trying to be
yeah,
competitive with the other lots, that's all.
No,
They're up there right now, and
Sure.
that's all.
Why were the other lots combined earlier?
because they
Same
were,
reason?
surveyed and combined at the courthouse prior.
If they were surveyed, they would only have 1 lot. So for tax purposes, they use a parcel. Now, if you don't want to receive 2 separate tax statements, you can just ask the county, can we combine these 2 lots into 1 tax statement? You still have 2 separate lots, because your legal description will say lot 1, lot 2, block 1, Heritage Heights. But if you have a survey, they'll replat it and it will only be 1 lot then combined in there. So for special assessments, it should be per lot, not per parcel, and that was missed the first time. When this was all put into there, when it was first published, not realizing that some of those parcels had multiple lots. And it could have been done that way, but it's, no matter how you do it, there's gonna be discrepancy, but that's how, now Wayne is trying to get his the same way of having his house and his extra lot together.
It's just a significant amount of money for
Mhm.
comparison, that's all, so.
well, to get things rolling, I would move that we would deny the request from Wayne Herringer for the reasons that have been stated across the table here.
Second.
Okay, we have a second? Is there any,
Second.
yep. Is there any more discussion? Not hearing any? Miranda?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. And yes. All right, Gary Thiel.
I'm kinda sitting in the same boat as Wayne is. I've got 2 lots. I've had them for 35 plus years. had 2 tax statements, didn't know there was any such thing as difference. You got people that got 3 lots, and they're gonna pay probably over $10,000 less than I am for 3 lots. I got 2 lots. You go by square footage, you go by curb. I got less curb and less square footage than a lot of them houses up there. I just don't feel it's fair.
Anybody have anything to?
I think it's kind of the same discussion, you know.
Well, and his lot is like a quarter of an acre, and there's other lots up there, like acre plus, and there's only a couple $1,000 difference in assessment. And so he's got a double assessment, as I do, and for a whole lot less square footage. So I don't know how this cap got involved up there, but somehow there's a cap up there on those
Yeah.
bigger lots.
How do you come up with this cap? I mean, you're
Yeah.
trying to keep everybody's taxes down so nobody gets too high, well, we got hung out to dry.
It's a bad situation. I know I've been on the special assessment committee myself. You're not gonna make any friends. It's tough work. Nobody wants to do it. I know they had trouble finding people to volunteer for it. I feel for you. But,
But you better get this figured out next time before you.
oh yeah,
Exactly.
it's been a hassle this time because it's been a whole new, committee. Chelsea hasn't really been through this process that much for experience, so it's been a learning experience to say the least. But I know,
It's a lot of money,
yeah,
24,000, 36,000, I mean,
Right.
goodness.
And of course, we're both retired, so
Yeah.
you know,
oh yeah,
it's retirement money, it's not, we're not making this money.
that's where, I feel that the commission lets down the city when we don't maintain our roads the best that we possibly can, so we can avoid these special assessments. That's why I look at it. But, we have a first and second.
We don't have anything.
Oh,
I would motion to deny it.
I'm sorry. I got caught up in talking.
That's good. That's okay.
Okay, is there any more discussion? Not hearing any?
Yes.
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 Yes. And yes. All right, the last one was, Sandra Peterson, like I said, this falls under the same situation, I believe.
But, she no longer owns property.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and, say to leave it as is,
It doesn't need any action, I don't think.
Right.
She doesn't.
just to clarify for the
The
group.
current owners would have to
Right,
protest.
yeah, it's nothing to vote on, but just so there's some kind of action.
Correct.
All right,
So then the next thing is to approve the special assessments. You have a form in front of you here.
you want me to read this, Chelsea?
Yes, please, or I can read it.
I'll let you read it.
So the resolution confirming assessments and directing certification and levy, whereas the governing board of the city of Washburn, North Dakota has received the assessment list attached hereto as Exhibit B from the Special Assessment Commission levying special assessments for the cost of improvements for Street Improvement District 22-1, which assessment list was duly adjusted and confirmed at the meeting of the Special Assessment Commission held on September 11th, 2024. And whereas the governing body has previously reviewed the assessment list and has heard and determined the appeals filed by the persons aggrieved by the determination of the Special Assessment Commission as set forth on Exhibit A, attached hereto at the city's October 14th, 2024 special meeting. Now therefore it be resolved that the assessment list as attached hereto and marked Exhibit C is hereby in all the things approved and confirmed. that the city auditor is hereby directed to forthwith certify the assessment list noted as Exhibit C and file the same in the office of the city auditor. That paid special assessments unpaid shall bear and accrue interest at the rate of 2% per annual. This special assessment shall bear and accrue interest from November 1, 2024, and shall be certified and payable in equal annual installments over a period of 20 years, with the first certification in 2024 for collection in 2025 and annually thereafter. That the city auditor is hereby directed to annually certify said special assessment installments with interest as above, specified to the McLean County Auditor for extension on the tax list of the city as required by law, dated this 14th day of October 2024.
Okay, thank you.
And just to note, to make sure that if anybody wants to pay off their specials, they have 10 days to do it, and then it'll go to the county. So you have a 10-day period. That's for anybody that wants to come in and pay off their specials before they get assessed to your tax statement.
So you need a motion to approve that, and I would so move.
This is the form I brought, is there a different form, or is this what he signed?
That one was the one that went to the paper. Yeah, this is the resolution that came today that was sent in a later email.
Yeah, that's one I brought, so
Okay.
he probably needs this.
Okay. Is there any, can I ask for any input from the crowd?
Do whatever
Did you
want.
make a motion?
I made a motion to approve the resolution, so you need a second.
Okay. I'll make the second.
Okay. Now you can open up for discussion.
Okay. We're open up for discussion.
Is, assessment's gonna be prorated from November, or is it gonna be for the whole year of 2020?
It's for the whole year. Yep, because that's how they
I
go.
heard you say something about November 1st, that's what caught my ear.
Yep, so they are due to the county by November 1st of every year for that following tax statement. By law, they changed it a couple of years ago that they had to send out a estimated tax statement. So these weren't on there because they weren't finalized yet, so whatever your annual installment is gonna increase that tax statement by that much, as long as nobody else changed their budget either. Cause that kind of determines that, so, nope, the new annual installment will be for the following year, and it'll just go then from here on after November 1st.
Yeah, Wayne?
I just feel there's so many inequities in this whole proposal. I would urge you strongly to vote no, and let's look at it again, because it just seems to be like there's so many unfair situations in that district. For the limited amount of homes, for the amount of money it was, and I just feel if you sit down, there's a lot of things that aren't equitable. So I urge you vote no.
Daryl Kinishewski, what formula did you guys use?
So it was based off of that the committee determined to put a cap on there, so
Who come up with the cap?
the committee,
What committee?
the special assessment committee.
Special assessment.
We wanted a cap, but we didn't come up with the formula.
I'd like to
I want
know-
that straightened out.
I'd like to know you guys' fuzz math, how this is working.
Okay, so they set the cap at 15,000 for everybody in that project area.
They didn't.
Yes, they did.
14.8 is well, here. We had a meeting and we were gonna do a cap. We were showed the formula, well, actually, we weren't showed the formula, it was 30, whatever it was, 30, and the 14.8 is what the cap was gonna be. And we said, okay, we wanna cap, the areas. I have no idea how that 14.8 actually came about. I can't tell you the math exactly step by step, how that came about. That was brought to us at the meeting. I'm not gonna get accused of something here that we never came up with. We agreed with the cap. That's it. As far as the formula, how that came about, it came from, Chelsea, I'm not coming after you, but Chelsea brought it out that night. This is how we came up with this cap. Her and whoever else came up with this cap. But we agreed as a committee, we're gonna agree to that cap at 14.8.
Isn't
That's
it
all.
the
But you
special
also-
committee's job to come up with with the amounts?
Right.
Not hand it to them by somebody else?
Yeah,
That
they were
is
handed a
true.
spreadsheet based off of what they decided on going per parcel, per square footage, with capping it at 15,000. So if you do that, you have to say that some of those people in there should have been assessed way more than 15,000. And some of them were. But they capped it at that. So then if that 15,000 is not going to one person, it needs to go somewhere else. It's going to everybody else in there. And it's based off with the inflation rate of it going to that 52-47% of kind of how it worked out.
We totally understand this has to be paid for, no doubt. But golly, do it fairly. These guys are really getting screwed.
We weren't a part of this special committee, like I've never seen this formula, we're just voting on what got brought to us, and we're not placing blame or pointing fingers. But this conversation, I believe, should have been happening at the specials committees before it got here, like telling them it's
Well,
unfair.
you have the power to change this.
See, and that's, like,
Okay, so if someone wants to go to this was an option that was dismissed right from the get-go when they looked at it. Everybody that was capped at that 14,803 went to 15,000. Their second lot got 7,500 because that's half of it. And then everybody on Jennifer Drive got an additional $1,000 because they have really bigger lots. And that was the biggest complaint from everybody else. Is that more fair to you?
No, to me, the fairest thing is go by square footage. What you own for square footage,
With no cap?
no cap. So the people who own more, yeah, naturally they're gonna pay more. Isn't that the way tax base works?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was at
Gary?
that meeting at the city hall, and there was some of this stuff brought up, and, Mr. Lindell come over and says, we ain't changing nothing. And the numbers that were there were different than what was in the paper at that time. Talked to Dan, he had completely different numbers than what was in the paper. So, how are you supposed to, that's the only meeting that we've been able to go to other than this one. Those, we've got no idea when they got their special assessment meetings. So, how can you voice your opinion?
and, Mr. Chairman, and I was just out there trying to inform the people, because they weren't getting informed at all, as far as numbers. And being on the assessment committee, was that wrong, of going out to inform these people? I don't know, but these people needed to know what their assessments are gonna be. And because there was no other meetings for them to come to complain to anybody, so they're complaining to me, but there's nothing I can actually do. So I'm trying to do the best to be fair to everybody, what would be a good assessment, but, and I don't know, just,
Weren't those numbers available through City Hall?
what's that?
Weren't those numbers available through City Hall?
Were the numbers not available to them?
After.
Well, you go to the city website, and there was 3 or 4 different times, different numbers, so you didn't know what was what.
When did, Chelsea, when did notification come out that the numbers were finalized?
After the July 9th public hearing, and that resolution then was finalized that went in there, which is when we got all those protests back, which is why we didn't hold that meeting with the commission, because they pushed it back to the special assessment committee to decide, because that really changed everybody's number up there by going per lot instead of per parcel. Otherwise, they were changed after that public hearing. And then
Mr. Chairman,
re-uploaded.
There should have been a meeting with the public before even the assessment committee did any finalizing, so that you could have heard these concerns from these people or any of these people over here. So that you guys could have heard about it and you said, okay, this, we heard your concerns, now we need to talk, maybe then you guys would have probably come and talked to the assessment committee so we can determine what direction we wanna go. You know, that's what should have probably happened.
Do we have a deadline we have to turn this in by? I mean, What's our deadline? To
November 1st.
November first.
Mhm.
But you have to do it before the 21st, cause you have to
I have to have 10 days,
have 10 days to pay them off.
and we pushed it off for a year already and capitalized that interest. It'd be asking a lot to do it again.
We're kinda out of time to kick it back to them, aren't we?
And since June of starting this, I have had 2 people come and sit in my office and ask questions.
And when you kick it back, you get the interest and everyone gets more
Well,
assessed to them next year?
Yeah, so the city will be making the full payment for next year, if we do not get this on this year's tax statement.
Right.
Because we do not have that coming in then next year as tax installment payments are made. So the city will be having that first, we've already paid interest on it, our principal payment will be due, and the city will be paying that fully if no decision is made tonight.
Whenever I heard anything, I wrote letters. I didn't have it face to face, but I did, even like this last, when this came out in the paper, you know, wrote letters, cause there wasn't, I didn't do face to face, no, but I did try to react when we could. But it was kinda shotgun approach for me, I guess.
And you were within the means of the public hearings, so you were just fine. Like, you got your letters in, that's procedure. The public hearing was had, they didn't change those numbers from there, now it moved on to the commission has to make it. If not, they don't accept it, then it gets kicked back, but yeah, it won't be able to be done this year.
But it went from the original, then it went to parcel instead of lot, then it went back, so there was a lot of changing if you look at it that way.
It went from parcel to lot back to parcel.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
And after it went back to parcel, they had an opportunity to talk to the special committee before now, or us?
We just
or-
moved it to this being, it went back to what it was when we initially had that public
Right.
hearing back in July. I did tell the committee if they wanted another public hearing, let me know what days worked for them, I would set it up. If they wanted it, but now it just, not much changed where it went back to the only 3 people we had protested, that's why they went back to those numbers.
Right.
Now the commission has a final say.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, any more discussion? Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Okay,
I don't get the paper. Are the numbers that we went back to the very original ones or from July?
I uploaded the new document, it's the only document that's uploaded on there.
Okay, I looked online, but my lot is more than now what was stated online is more than what it was way back when. So that's
Is
why I
that
was
because of
wondering
that
what we went
residential?
back.
It was because of that one farm parcel that had to be taken out of there. Yep.
Okay.
Miranda?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right.
Take a 5-minute recess while we switch meetings.
That's a good idea.
Well, let's close the public hearing.
You gotta close the
Oh,
public hearing first.
Okay.
You can just declare it closed, so.
All right, I'm gonna declare this public hearing closed on the special assessment.